Today I'm going to share with you the 5 reasons why your pre-emergent has failed, and we're starting right now. Hi everyone, Rob, the Average Lawn Guy. Thanks for tuning in. For those of you who are new to my channel, I will do a series of do-it-yourself lawn care. In order not to miss out on any of this, subscribe now, hit that notification bell. So I've had multiple people come and ask me, hey Rob, I put down a pre-emergent and I'm still seeing weeds come up. In fact, I'm seeing more weeds than usual. Why is this happening? The pre-emergent does not work. So while everybody's situation is different, it's very hard to tell you exactly why your pre-emergent has failed, but there are top 5 reasons why your pre-emergent did not work this year. Reason number 1, you applied it too late. You see, pre-emergents work by forming a chemical barrier that suppresses the weeds from growing. It does not kill existing weeds. It just suppresses it and inhibits seed growth. When you apply it too late and you have active weeds growing, it is not going to work. Even if you apply it too late and you don't see any weeds growing, the weeds can be so small it could be beneath the thatch layer or covered by the grass itself, so it's very hard to see the weeds. This is why it's important to apply your pre-emergent early enough where you can catch the weeds before they sprout, but not too late where the weeds have already sprouted. So a good time to apply your pre-emergent in the fall when soil temperatures drop to 70 degrees and it stays 70 degrees for about 3 to 4 days. That's a good time to apply a pre-emergent. Here in Georgia, we apply it sometime around September 15th. So in the springtime, you want to apply your pre-emergent when your soil temps start rising to about 55 degrees and it stays like that again for 3 days. So that's your best time to apply your pre-emergent. In Georgia, that time is usually around the March 15th to mid-April range. It's really hard to tell you the exact time. The best way I find to measure soil temps is to take a soil thermometer or even a meat thermometer and stick it into the ground. Stick it about 2 to 3 inches and wait a while. Wait for the reading to stabilize. And once it stabilizes, that's when you'll know your exact soil temps. There's also different websites that you can go to see the soil temps in your area. Here is another way to check the soil temps in your area. You just go to your Google search bar and type in soil temps near me. You'll get a general idea of different websites that measure soil temperatures. Click on one of them and here you're taken into the website. In my case, it's the University of Georgia. You can type in your zip code to narrow down your results. So this way you can get an idea of what your soil temps are. Reason number 2 why your pre-emergent did not work this year. You applied your pre-emergent too early. Again, when you apply that chemical barrier a little too early, remember most pre-emergents are effective for about 3 months. After about 3 months, you start to have deterioration of the pre-emergent barrier. Some pre-emergents will last up to 5 months, maybe 6 months, depending on what product you use. But for the most part, most pre-emergents last about 3 to 5 months. So after that time frame, you're going to have a small gap when you have to apply your next chemical barrier. And that small gap is where the weeds can actually sneak up because there is no chemical barriers. So it will sneak up on you and take over. Reason number 3 why your pre-emergent did not work this year. You had gaps in coverage. You see, the problem with pre-emergents, especially granular pre-emergent, is that you can have gaps in coverage, and if you don't apply it just right or just heavy enough, you will have that gap in coverage where weeds can actually sneak in between that. So it's very important. If you're using a granular product, you initially apply a granular and then come back around in about 4 weeks and reapply again. That way you'll have complete coverage. Another way you can do it is to make one pass going one way and then make another pass going the other way. So this way you'll have good complete coverage of the granulars with your pre-emergent. Reason number 4 why your pre-emergent did not work is that it basically washed away. I have some footage of a video I took during a heavy rainstorm, and we're going to take a look at that. But before we do, take a look at my lawn right now. Now this is my backyard right now. You can see it is virtually weed free because I applied a good pre-emergent program. My program, I apply a granular pre-emergent and then come back around in 4 weeks and apply either another granular or gold liquid. So you can see here, very good coverage, very little weeds. There are some weeds here and there in the corners, usually around the edges of the patio. That's because it's really hard to get granulars right here. You can see again another weed here. So what I typically do is pull this and just stay on top of it. So here is a footage I took not too long ago during a heavy rainstorm. As you can see why granulars can fail or why pre-emergence has failed quicker than expected. Look at this washout. You can see I have a small area here where water runs off, and you can see right here in the middle water is running towards the very back here. So if I apply the granular pre-emergent right here, for example, that will tend to get washed away much more quickly than the other areas of the lawn right here. So what I normally do to compensate for that is I apply a little bit more in the middle here. I would apply a standard application where water doesn't run, but in the middle I tend to apply a little bit more than usual right along the middle here, just because I know this part of my lawn tends to have the water running through it in the middle, and that will tend to wash away the chemical barrier quicker. Now if I apply any kind of fertilizer, I will tend to either apply a little bit heavy in the middle, or I would have to reapply just in this middle. So normally I would apply my fertilizer about every 8 weeks, but maybe every 6 weeks I may have to go and apply just along this middle strip right here. So something to keep in mind. And reason number 5 why your pre-emergent did not work this year, essentially you didn't water it in. You see, any pre-emergent, whether you're using granular or liquid, but mostly granular, it's important to water it in. And when I say water in, I don't mean water just once and forget it. You actually have to make sure that's watered in correctly. You see, granulars, once they're on the ground, they actually have to melt, but because it melts very slowly, that chemical barrier won't have time to actually disperse. So if you don't water in properly, you're not going to get good coverage. Same thing with liquid pre-emergents, such as prodiamine, for example. Even though prodiamine goes on as a liquid, it still has to be watered in. In fact, it has to be watered in past that thatch layer, and it has to go about 1 to 2 inches below the soil surface, so that way you can get that good coverage of pre-emergent in your lawn. So I have a question for you. Tell me exactly what type of pre-emergent do you use? Do you use granulars or do you use liquid? And I hope you found this video useful. Give it a like if you did. And don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more videos. With that, thanks for watching. Take care.